bring some content to you, talk about some different things. There's some things going on in my life lately that some of it, even at my age, with all my life experience, I just got to shake my head and I just can't figure out why people act the way they act and why people say some of the stuff that they say. And it just, it's just people being people, and I'm guilty of it myself. And, oh, hold on a second. Oh, what did I do here? One moment, folks. I got to fix something here. I don't know what I did. Oh, I hit the wrong button. There we go. So, anyway, yeah, I just contemplating different things that are going on with me personally and with some of my friends, acquaintances, and whatnot, and trying to stay above the drama and stuff. Welcome. I see somebody just slid in here. And good morning. Go ahead and let me know who you are. I'll say hello to you. But yeah, it just seems like, sometimes you you make friends with people and things go on and you know and then certain things happen and let me get this thing go. There we go. Hey Vaughn, the Colonels Chronicles continue. Yes, it does, man. There's never a dull moment in my life, even though I'm just sitting around the house. But yeah, I'm slowly figuring out my circle of friends here in the Philippines is getting smaller and smaller. Good morning, Norm. Hey, Norm, appreciate you still watching. If you can hook me up on all your channels, my watch hours are like going less, so I guess I need to do better content or more long forms. I just haven't had time lately. Well, we've had a lot of rain, so I haven't been going out anywhere. Past few days, I've just been staying home. Or yesterday, for sure, I was home all day. Day before that, yeah, I went out for a little bit, but anyway, good morning to you down there in Oz. I got my little coffee cup here, and I just wanted to talk about different things that have been going on, and I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but there's some things that have been affecting me in my mind, and I've been thinking about uh, what people do when they're lonely, and when they don't have anybody really except for a few friends, and what do you do about that, and and also what do you do when you marry in a foreign country, you marry a lady, and then that lady starts to control your life or try to control your life. How do you handle that? And especially when it affects um, your friends or your ability to socialize with your friends. There's some stuff that's been going through my mind. I'm just like, because I'm starting to see some of that where it's like, wow, really? And it's like, what did I do? And then what happens is the ladies start to talk to each other, and you're like, what in the world? And the gossiping, and some of it might be true, what people talk about you. Some of it might not be true. Hey, Gino, good morning. Yeah, I missed your brother. I didn't see you on there. I was waiting, and then I just thought, oh, it must be an off day, and so I decided I would come on here. So good morning, Norm. Yeah, hey, Mister. Yeah, okay, Roger. I don't even know you, but thank you for that, I guess. And Gino says hi, Norm. But anyway, yeah, guys, I'm noticing that sometimes there's stuff going on here in the Philippines, and it seems to be just among the expats, but maybe it's among Filipinos too. But where people are talking, and they're just like, and they start talking about you, and you're not even there, and you're like, whoa, what, and then you find out later that, oh, okay, and then you're like, oh, that's why that happened. Oh, okay, and then you're like, really? I, you know, and it's like, wow, okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Hey, Vaughn, thank you. Gino says, Vaughn. Gino says, off day, yeah, doing one day on. Yeah, I heard that, Gino, and that's what I figured today was an off day, but I kind of was late getting up. I was just being lazy this morning. Like I've been lazy a lot lately. Just laying in the bed, looking at my phone and whatnot. But yeah, Jesus said, hey, from, I think it was Norm. Vaughn says, you got it. Yeah, so and how do you guys handle that? When you find out that, um, especially when it's like where it's you have I don't even want to get into it now that I brought it up. I don't even want to get into it, but it's just like wow, when you have friends and whatnot, and then you feel like, man, I don't feel welcome anymore. And it's like, what did what did I say, what did I do? And sometimes there's this misconception among people that uh, you feel a certain way, so they feel a certain way, and then okay, they don't want to associate with you anymore. And it's like, really? And when nothing really was said, and so it's just kind of, it's kind of weird like that. Hey, Melanie. Yeah, great green background. That's not a green screen, Melanie. I get that comment a lot. So all I'm saying is my wall hanging here works. Everybody thinks it's a green screen, but it's not. It's just a wall hanging back there. You know? Here. See? That's just a wall hanging. That's not a green screen. But I like it because it makes me feel like I'm at the beach. And I like the beach. But thanks for the compliment. But not a green screen, just a wall hanging. And Gino says, that's why there are so many misunderstandings with expats. You're right, Gino. And I thought I could stay above the fray and I thought I could stay out of it, but apparently I'm in the middle of it. And I never wanted to be. So what I'm finding, folks, I think I'm just going to have to back away from stuff. And the YouTube is kind of the cause of a lot of it. And in my effort to make some funny content and do stuff like that, evidently I've offended some people and I didn't mean to, or scared some people and I definitely didn't mean to do that. I can be a scary dude, but that's not my role here on YouTube. That life is behind me, you know. But yeah, you're right, Gina. A lot of misunderstandings with that, and it's sad because, and this also too why in Thailand I didn't have very many or very few foreign friends, maybe 2 or 3 foreigners that I consider friends because I didn't want to be involved in the stuff that I saw going on with the expats, and I don't want to be involved in it here in the Philippines either. So I think I have to take a step back and just do my own thing for a while. And I mean, I still have friends, James and Karen, and Bellis is out there, but things have changed a little bit, and so I'm just going to take a step back. So you might not see me on here as much. I think I'm still going to go live, but maybe not as much. But sometimes I enjoy it because I got to talk to somebody. And right now I live here alone. That may change in the future, but right now it is what it is. And yeah, I'm just going to take a step back from people that I've been associating with, and because I don't care for the things that are being said behind my back and the effects that other people, not necessarily them, but people they're acquainted with, are causing problems for me that I didn't ask for, and I don't think it's fair actually to me either or to them because evidently I've caused them to think things that definitely are not true. So I'm just going to have to take a step back for a little bit, guys, and it is what it is. Hey Lou, haven't seen you in a minute. My dad always said my friends is God, my parents, and my wallet. There you go, Lou. That's interesting, Lou. I kind of like that. Bella's there. I'm here listening live. Yeah, Bella's is going live at 11. Smash the like button. Thanks, Bella's, for putting the plug in there. I'm always careful with my words, especially if the individual is not on my live stream. Yeah, Gino, and it's just, I'm not going to get into details or anything like that, but it's just strange to me that just my presence, I guess, is abrasive to some people. And, I was used to that at work, but since I've been retired, I haven't really felt that I've been that person. Excuse me. Still rocking my Colonels Chronicles mug and my Gino-inspired Copico Blanca. And Gino, no extra stuff anymore. I've cut that back. But anyway, yeah, I used to take this Copica Blanca and it's sweet enough as it is, but I always put that little bit of sweetened condensed milk in there to make it just a tad bit creamier and sweeter. But man, it's so bad for you. And I've been gaining weight lately. I'm not happy about that. Too much pizza. But yeah, Gino's right. Got to be careful. Hi, Bellis from Gino. Norm. Hey, Bellis. Good morning, sir, from Bellis. And let's see. Let me see if I can. There, I put Bellis down there at the bottom. Yeah, you can click on his channel and go check him out at 11. So like and subscribe and all that stuff. Wow, I got the 7 thumbs up already. I'm getting tongue tied, but thanks. But yeah, so I don't know if you guys have experienced that. Hey, Happa, yo, Colonel from Happa. Good morning or good evening over there. Good morning, Bellis from Gino. Good morning, Gino from Bell. Oh, I'm reading the pinned comment. I'm getting bad as you, Bell. But anyway, yeah. So I just kind of want to caution people, uh, because some of the stuff I've learned over the years is that you tend to only have a few really close friends. But what happens sometimes with the close friends is sometimes our spouses get involved, and we may not be as close a friend with the spouse as we are with our close friend. And then through that and through the influences, things happen. Sometimes not always good. Which brings me to another topic, which is how do you deal with a controlling wife? You know, I mean, everybody says, especially a happy wife, happy life. Well, really? I spent years in America trying to make my wife happy and keep her happy. And those are the most miserable years of my life, to be quite honest. I'm sharing some real personal stuff now. I was married to that woman for 25 years, okay? And I was living with her for 21. Took 4 years to divorce that sorry lady. And those were, now my children brought me great joy, okay? So this isn't against them. But their mother, oh my goodness. I was unhappy my whole married life. And that's pathetic and that's sad to even say that. And some of it might have been my fault. And you know what? I used to blame myself for all of it until I woke up one day and I said, no, this is a woman that has some mental problems. She's got some issues that she hasn't dealt with. But she was very controlling, And there's a couple times where I tried to deal with that and I tried to nip that in the bud. It just made my life worse. So I put myself in a situation that I should have put myself in to begin with by marrying the wrong person. Let's catch up in the comments here. Let's see. Good morning, Bellas from Gino. I got that. Io Bellas, Dance on TV, and Norm. Yeah, Hapa, Io. That's the way they say hello over there where Bellas lives. Norm. The less friends, the less chance of getting stabbed in the back. Ain't that the truth, Norm? Because I've been feeling maybe not some stabbing, but I've been getting poked a little bit in the back, and it's not a good feeling. I ain't gonna lie to you. Kind of hurts a little bit. And Norm says, hi, Half. I think that's Happa. So, anyway, guys, thanks for joining me. There's 9 people in here. I appreciate that. 9 thumbs up. That's good. We're keeping everything even. It's all good. But yeah, I'm just wondering, has anybody else experienced that or has a spouse that tries to control everything you do? Now, don't say something around that's going to get you in trouble. I'm not trying to start anything here. But I just wondering how different people deal with that. Do you sit down and have a talk about it? Do you walk away? I tried to sit down and have a talk about it because my wife in America was super super controlling, and I would say in Thailand, no, the women that I was associating in Thailand, not controlling at all, not at all. As a matter of fact, I kind of, in a way, I wish they would take an initiative a little more and control a little more than they did. But no, not at all. They expect the men to handle everything. And but what I've noticed over here in the Philippines, when watching other people's relationships, it's just as an outside observer, because I've had 2 real long. Nah, the one wasn't real long, but I've had one real long-term relationship over here. And when I say long-term, I mean about a year. And so I've been involved with Filipina women. So it's not like I'm talking out of turn. I don't have any experience and don't know anything what I'm talking about at all, because I do. I have some experience. And, for the most part, most of it was good. And the women that I was with were not really controlling. They do try to control you emotionally and by their emotions. They try to pull on your heartstrings a lot. But I've been noticing over here that some of the Filipino women, and this is not a negative thing or an indictment or anything, but it's just an observation, is that some of them, they really, they try to control their husbands and their men. And how do they do that? They do that by tampo, they do that by, tampo being a silent treatment, they do that by sometimes the flash anger, the quick getting upset real quick over stuff that honestly doesn't make any sense. It does to them, I guess, but to most of us men, it doesn't make any sense. We're like, what? So I just wonder how people deal with that. You just walk away from it? Because that's what I'm kind of doing. I'm just going to kind of walk away from all of it and not associate with it because it's better for my sanity. Okay. Ted from Bohol. Hey, Ted. Haven't talked to you for a good little bit. Good morning, guys. Hard to find that happy medium, Colonel. Yes, it is. That's what I'm noticing, Ted. Over here, it's like there is no happy medium over here. You're either 100% happy, everything's cool, or man, you're miserable. But what gets me is I don't mind if you're miserable in your relationship. Don't bring that miserableness into my life. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring it into other people's lives. Keep it to yourself. Keep it in your own house. Don't let it affect your friends, if they truly are your friends, or other people. And what I'm noticing is that some of that's carrying over. Now it's affecting me. And I'm like, I don't like it. I don't want it. And I didn't ask for it. I just try to be a friend of people. This is from Norm. I've never been married, but I'll find out next year. No red flags after 4 years. Norm, how do I say this, man, in as good a way as possible? I'm happy for you, first off. And I think you probably found a good one, But when you get married, for some reason, there's a different switch that gets turned on. I don't know how else to. Am I wrong? Does anybody else know what I'm talking about? Once you get married, it's like, wow, where'd that come from? I hadn't seen that in the past 4 years. I'm not saying it's going to happen, brother. God bless you. If you have a good relationship, I think that's great. And I'm not criticizing anybody's relationship here. I'm just throwing out an observation to see if anybody else has observed it. And from a couple comments where I can see that, yeah, people know what I'm talking about. But, we all want to be careful with what we say, because we don't want to offend the one we're with or somebody else. But, it happens. Yeah, Adro, I don't know why you're sharing that. That's pretty ignorant, dude, but whatever. Yeah, didn't infect friends. Not cool. Yeah, don't affect friends. Not cool. And hey, Bellas, if you're still there, can you take care of Adro for me? Joao Batista. I know I messed up your name. I'm sorry for that. And he said hello, good morning to you. Is it Joao or Joao? Or Yao? Yoao? Boy, I'm butchering that name. Are you from the Philippines? I don't know. I'm sorry for that, for messing up the name. I'm just, sometimes that American pronunciation comes out. I try my best. Norm, maybe I'll keep all the money in my account so I have a switch to throw back. Norm, you got to do you, man. Everybody handles their relationships differently. And, I handle mine differently. Obviously, I don't handle mine properly because otherwise I would be in a relationship like some of my friends that are married, but I'm not. And after my last relationship, I told myself never again. I don't want to, I'm not getting married again. I'm not doing any of that. It's not because I dislike ladies or that I don't trust Filipina ladies or I don't trust Thai ladies. It's not any of that. It's just self-preservation. We put up whenever we have issues in life, some of you might notice, some of you may not know it. We put up what we call defense mechanisms, and we do that in our brain, and we set up walls and stuff within our brain to keep ourselves from being hurt or from being damaged mentally. Most normal people, that's what you do. Now, there's other people that they don't have that ability and they can't handle it and they have mental breakdowns and everything. But most of us, to guard ourselves against hurt, sadness, things like that, we put up what they call defense mechanisms. And those are the little things in there that are the little walls to stop outside stressors or whatever from coming in, or from people from hurting us. That's why some people, they won't enter into relationships because they've been hurt before. They don't want to ever have it again. So what do? They put up that wall, that defense mechanism. Yeah, they'll go out, but they're never going to make a commitment again. And I've almost got to that point in life where I'm not making that commitment again, you know. But somebody's come into my life and made me want to push the wall down again, open myself up to be hurt again or whatever, and we'll see what happens. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, you know. But that's my decision, and it's my life, and it's the same way with everybody. Excuse me, folks. Let me, yeah, just take care of that. Um, I don't know why people come on our live stream, other people's live stream, and talk about their bowel movements. Like we want to know. I mean, you know, it's just. I mean, I get it. I got the prison sense of humor, but come on now. Let's see. Ted, just a suggestion, Colonel. Just do the live-in partner thing. Yeah, Ted. You know, been there, done that, and for me, I'm more of a commitment type person. If I make a commitment to you, I expect the same commitment in return. Um, when you do the live-in partner thing, which works for a lot of people, and it's semi worked for me at times, but it's just um, with my moral view on life and everything, I don't feel correct doing that um, unless there has been some type of commitment made. And if you make that commitment, you might as well be married, as far as I look at it. But I know some people don't agree with that and they don't like to do that. But it's just my upbringing and my belief system. Um, but yeah, you got to take time and see what's going to happen with people and whatnot. But I won't enter into any type of relationship like that without having some sort of commitment. And once that commitment's broken, then that relationship's over. You know. Um, but anyway, Lou, I'm so used to being single. Yeah, Lou, I tell you what, and since I got separated the first time in my life, that was back in 2007. I've been single most of that time. Most of the time I've been living on my own. And you get used to being single, and you get used to, and then as you get older, you get set in your ways, and you're like, I'm kind of enjoying this. You get lonely, and that's what I was talking about right at the beginning. And we didn't really delve into that. What do you do about the loneliness? And we can talk about that as this live stream goes on. Um, because some people, it's funny, some people are lonely, they don't even realize it. Then there's other people who think they're lonely, but they don't have to be, or maybe they necessarily aren't as lonely as they think. And hold on, this thing's jacked though. Something's going on here with my. Excuse me, folks. I was trying to fix something and I made it worse. Oh, we got some long messages here. That'll keep me from talking. Let me read them. Norm says, yeah, I went through that stuff years ago. So a wall went up and I was happy on my own, but often found when hiking there was someone missing to share with. The wall went down and here I am. Yeah, exactly, Norm. And that's what happens. Sometimes, in the effort to search for what we're looking for in life, or when we feel like something's missing, we put the wall down, or we open a doorway in that wall, and to let something else in, or somebody else in, and we go through the process all over again, hoping and praying that, hey, hope it won't be like it was the last time, you know. But I'm getting a kick out of some of the judgment that's coming my way from people. And you're entitled to think whatever you want to think about someone, and you can think whatever you want to think about me, good or bad. That's your business. But when it starts to affect what I do, then it becomes a little bit more problem. Or if it affects uh, my friends, or my ability to spend time with someone I consider a friend, and I get a little bit hostile about that. I don't like that. Excuse me. Now that's a good cup of coffee. Anybody remember that? That coffee commercial. There's Tom Mosca, or Mosca. Excuse me if I said it wrong, Tom. I do my best. 25 years married, 2 kids, no complaints, but we are equal in everything. Most expats here have wives on weekly payroll, treat them like employee, and act like dictator. After a while, the crap hits the fan. Yeah, I mean, there's a happy medium. And call me crazy, because people have and people do, but I always approach the relationship from the model of, and I'm a little bit different now, okay, because my conservative Christian upbringing, okay, but my idea on it is 100%, 100%, and not 50-50. And what I mean by that, each of you are giving, you're coming into this relationship with 100%, and this person's coming in a relationship with 100%, okay? And what happens is those 100%, 100 comes in, and it becomes 100% together, because both of you are putting 100% effort into the relationship. It's not, okay, I'm coming over here and I'm just taking care of this person, and they sit on their backside and not do anything, don't put any effort into the relationship, and you're busting your hump over here to try to make a relationship work. If it's all one-sided like that, and you're giving 100% and the other person's only giving 50, it's not going to work. Or the other person's not even giving 50, it's not going to work. So it goes both ways. Um, and a lot of people, well, you got to do 50-50 because you got to keep some stuff to yourself. Well, the giving the 100% involves keeping stuff for yourself, okay? Because in that effort of you're giving 100% to someone else, part of that is keeping yourself healthy. And I'm talking about mentally healthy. Physically healthy would help too. But that's the way I look at it. If neither one of you is 100% invested in the relationship, it's probably not going to work. So you have to have that 100% commitment. And what I've noticed over here is just like what you said, that, hold on, where was it? Let me go back to it. Yeah, what you're saying about, if you got in a relationship and the guy, over here in the Philippines, we're talking about a foreigner and a Filipina lady, and the guy's acting like just like a dictator because he's got the money, he's controlling everything. No, that's not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking about control too, is that because usually it's the women, and a lot of that. Now, if you're acting like a dictator, they're going to try to fight. Like I fought with my ex-wife for it. I tried to get control back because I realized early on, in an effort to quell her emotional issues that she had, I gave up, I relinquished control of certain things. I'll never ever do that again. I learned from that relationship. I'll never, especially when it comes to money. And now part of that was me being lazy and tired of seeing her crying and belly aching about stuff. And I wanted to prove a point to her, but in the effort of proving a point, she took control, and I couldn't get it back after that because, you know, what's a big way women control men? Anybody want to say it, or do I have to say it? What's the biggest way that women attempt to control men? I'll pause for a minute. Jackie says, "Good evening, Colonels." Well, the Colonel says good morning because it's morning over here. I know it's evening where you're at, Chappie, so good evening to you. Norm says, "I've lived on my own for so long, I find it hard to let Marissa do everything for me. She's my partner, not my slave, but it makes her happy." Yeah, Norm, you know what? That's a problem with me too. I'm so used to doing everything on my own. When I have a woman come into my life and she starts doing all the stuff that I've been doing, it's hard, man. It's hard for me to let go of that and let her do it. It was at first. Now, it's not so hard anymore. I'm just like, yeah, okay, go ahead on. Unless it comes to, look, I ain't eating that stinky fish. So I got to cook something. But most of the time with Filipino ladies, they'll cook you your meal. They'll cook what they want to eat because they're going to eat their rice and fish. And if you don't care for that, well, they're going to cook you. Generally, they're going to cook you a separate, which blows my mind. In America, my wife in America is like, dude, that's why I'm cooking, man. You don't like it, you can go hungry. That's the way my mom was, and my wife kind of the same way. But I tell this story to people. I'm going to tell it again here. My wife, now you got to understand, when I was younger and I was married back then, I was a lot thinner than I am now, a lot thinner. And I'm about half the size I am now. But because she was a tiny little thing, she always said I was too fat. And she was, I mean, she was downright nasty about some of the comments that she said. And I'd just be like shaking my head, like I can't, what do I, if I talked about you the way you talk about me, the appearance of my body or whatever, and trust me, there's a lot of things I could have said about her body, but I didn't out of respect, because that's the way I was raised. And I always feel like, if you're with a woman, that's the woman you chose, you respect her, and you respect her appearance. You can talk about things, but you do it in a loving and caring way, not in a critical way like she used to do. But anyway, she used to feed me, and I'm not making this crap up. She used to feed me on a dessert plate, okay, for dinner. If she wasn't putting stuff in bowls and stuff, and we were doing family stuff, but if she was fixing the plates from where she was cooking, she'd get out a dessert plate and put my food, these little portions of food on the dessert plate. And I'd look over, and my kids would have a dinner plate, and their dinner plate with all their food, and I'm looking at her like, what?
Ah, you're too fat. You don't need to eat all that.
I'm like, yeah, but you know what? I'm your husband. I'm the father. That's downright disrespectful. Look at what you're teaching the kids, how disrespectful you are to your husband. I had 3 daughters, and I had one son. He was the oldest, and I had 3 girls. I'm like, look at how you're teaching your daughters to disrespect their future husbands. I couldn't believe it. I just shake my head. And when she decided that she wanted to kick me out and told me to find a new place to live, I'm like, hey, say no more. It was still sad. There's a lot more that was involved with that, but man, it was rough, man. But Norm, I get you, Norm. I know exactly what you're talking about, and that's okay though. Future farmers are acting. Levi, good morning, sir. Welcome to the channel. Kind of talking about some real personal things and some things that are going to push some buttons. Probably to the women, it's going to push their buttons. And but I've seen some things over here in the Philippines that are starting to disturb me amongst my acquaintances and friends. And I think it's sad. And I'm probably just, going to lose them as friends as time goes on because of it. And that's a shame too. Because through this YouTube, I've been meeting a lot of people, and I've been meeting a lot of people in person too. And it's just, I never expected that to happen like it's happening. It's just incredible. Let's see, I missed something here. Okay, Levi, good morning. Chappie, as far as women talk, right? I missed something there, Chappie. I'm sorry. Robert says, hi there. Years ago, my grandfather gave me some advice. He said, for a person to be happy, he or she needs to be happy within themselves first to have a great life. And you know what, Robert? That's what I used to tell my ex-wife, because she was a very unhappy young lady. She was very unhappy and bitter, and she was bitter towards her father because, he cheated on her mother and they got divorced. And then, she basically was left there at home with her brothers and to raise themselves basically because their mom became a nurse and hadn't worked all the time. So she's very bitter. And I used to tell her, I said, look, I'm doing everything I can to try to bring you happiness, help you be happy. I said, but if you're not happy within yourself, if you're not a happy person, you're never going to receive any happiness, or you're not going to be happy with anything else. And I told her, I said, I'm done. I'm done trying to make you happy. I said, because in my effort to make you happy or to bring you happiness, all I've done is become a bitter, grumpy man. And I'm not happy at all. So you're exactly right. If someone cannot be happy on their own, now I'm happy on my own. I'm happy as can be. I get lonely sometimes, and we were talking about that a little bit, but I'm happy. I'm generally a happy person. I wasn't always a happy person, but since I've been retired, I've become a happy person. Even through all the nonsense in Thailand and stuff that I was going through and whatnot, I maintained a pretty happy-go-lucky attitude about a lot of it, and that's why I kept doing it. And I knew things weren't right, but I did it anyway because it made me happy, made me smile every day. Going out there to the farm, feeding the fish. I had thousands of fish in that lake that I had dug, and I was watching them come up, and eat. That brought a smile to my face. So I totally get it. And your grandfather gave you some sage, good advice, Robert. He's right on the money, as they say. Norm, Marissa always sets up a separate bowl for me. I hate bones in my. Oh man, boy, you had to bring that up. I hate bones in my food, so she picks them out for me. Norm, you got a winner there, man. I'll tell you what. I hope I find somebody like that. That's awesome because it's one of my pet peeves over here. I love the Filipino food, but they're like in Thailand. They love it. They'll take that chicken, wow, 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 and you got these hunks of meat with bone, and you got bone bits and whatnot. And you got to be careful when you're eating that Filipino food, man. You don't freaking choke on something, and or you bite down, you about broken tooth on a bone chip. You're like, come on, really, folks? Can I just get a boneless chicken fillet? But which you can get in some of the stores. You're gonna pay for it, but you can get it. Hold on, I'm laughing. My eyes are watering. But yeah, so yeah, I hate bones in my food. So you know what, Norm? If you got somebody like that, and she's got your separate bone, she's putting forth that, dude. She's putting forth effort. You gotta love that, man. You gotta love her for that. That's an awesome woman right there. That's an awesome human being. And the appreciation that you show her by taking care of her, I'm sure that means the world to her. And so that's what I mean by 100%, 100%. She's a 100% invested in bringing you some happiness, bringing you some comfort and well-being in this world. You can't ask for more than that. Well, you can, but doesn't mean you're gonna get it. Josh, hey, welcome, Josh. Or I'm Josh. Listen to me, Joe. I like that name, Joe Schmo. That's great, man. Where are you from, Joe? Because I haven't seen you before. But you make a comment. Joe, feminism has ruined Western women. I decided I would die old and lonely before I get involved with a Western woman. It's peaceful. But then I found out about traditional Filipino women, and I have hope again. If I find a good Filipino lady, I'm going for it, all in. Joe, go for it, man. Go for it. And you make a good comment. Feminism has ruined Western women. Yeah, feminism, not just Western women. Feminism creeps in and it ruins many societies, not just Western society. I think you got feminism going on somewhat in Eastern Europe now. Not as much as in the U.S. and in Western culture, but there's some feminism creeping into the Philippine culture, and some people are trying to nip that in the bud, but it's an evil thing, man. It's an evil thing. Now, feminism. I do believe in treating women fairly, okay? And you should treat your spouse fairly, okay? You need to love her, and all that involves. And I'm not talking about the physical part. I'm talking about the emotional support and everything else involved with that. So if you're treating a woman like a slave, whatnot, that's going to drive them to feminism because they want to be treated equally. But if you're treating them like the equal human being that they are, and the helpmeet that God intended them to be, then you're going to be okay. Which when we as men sometimes we want to put them under our thumb and control everything they do, and we crush their spirit. That's when they're going to kick back and they're going to rebel, and you're going to have problems, unless there's some bona fide mental issues. And I've been around some women that I believe have some bona fide mental issues, chemical imbalances and whatnot. Excuse me, 1 second. My nose is. Time to pull them long old man nose hairs out. I think they're tickling. But back to the chat here. I like that, Joe. Joe says he has hope again, and if he finds a good Filipino lady, he's going to go for it. And I say go for it, man. Here's a good example. Gino and Dazzle. What a great couple. Okay, what a great couple, and they exhibit good qualities in a relationship. James and Karen, great couple. Is everything perfect in either one of those situations? I don't know. I'm not there. But I think they would probably say, well, no, everything's not perfect if they're being honest. But they know how to deal with that and they know how to work through it. Okay? And there's other people that, like me in my marriage, I let her control everything I did because it was just an easier life for me. And I'm not going to lie, we argued every cotton picking day. And I'm stepping back, I'm like, why are we doing this? And I used to tell her, why are you screaming at me in front of the children? I hated that. You know, that's probably why my kids don't talk to me now in my older age. Now my son, you know, he's being a typical guy. He talks to me once in a while. You know, I expect that because I didn't call my parents every day. You know, but yeah, I don't want to go back to that. Lou, people cannot connect with perfect people. Are any of us perfect, Lou? I don't think any of us are perfect, man. Maybe I missed your point there, but you're right. Sometimes, myself included, we act perfect. We think we know everything. Man, I'm guilty of that, acting like I know her. But honestly, if someone really knows me and they have heart to heart talks with me, they know I'm very humble. And I know my faults and I know my weaknesses. But then on the outside, the bravado and whatnot, they they think, he's a know it all. Yeah, I come across like that. I really do. But I don't mean to. And it's not because I think I'm superior to you, because I'm not. I'm really not. I'm just a man in this world going through life like everybody else. You know, now my values and my belief system might be different from yours, but we're still traversing the pathways and the highways of life, and we're doing it the best way we know possible. You know, some of us are breaking some of the rules, some of us are speeding, some of us are impeding traffic, you know, but most of us are just, well, and some of us are broke down with the little triangle hazard sign behind us. And hopefully you're not at that point, but if you are, there hopefully somebody will come along and help you. But we're just going through life. John Vasquez, good sir, Colonel. Good morning. Good morning, John. I always love. That's how I know it's you, John. That little alien emoji. I love it. Someday you have to explain that to me. Chappie says, as far as women being controlling in a certain way, doesn't work when you're in your 50s, like myself. Worked well for the women in my life when I was in my 20s. LOL. Chappie, man, you're. I don't know if everybody understands what you said. You're right on. You're right on that. And when you're younger, you're a lot more tolerant. When you reach 50 and beyond, you're a whole lot less tolerant. And I'm guilty. That's cost me my last relationship because I was intolerant. I was intolerant to certain things, and I let her know that I'm not doing it anymore. And it wasn't. And then I caught myself. I made a step. I said I can't live like this. Hogwash. You can live any way that you choose to live. So I had to change that to it's not that I can't live like this, it's I don't want to live like this. So if you're being honest with yourself and you're telling somebody, well, I can't stand that or I can't put up with that, baloney, yeah, you can, but you choose not to. So the better statement is said, I won't put up with that and I won't live like that and I won't live this way. So sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves with what we're saying. I know I'm getting kind of deep and maybe a little bit a downer. I don't mean to be that way. I'm just trying to throw out some advice. You don't have to agree with me. It's okay. But that's what this channel is about. Well, this channel is about a lot of things. Usually, I like just having fun, but some things have been bothering me lately, and I just got to talk about them. And I'm talking about them to this camera on this phone, which is then translating over to you guys. So I'm just venting and talking about different things. And I'm not talking about anybody specific. We're not doing that. And but we're just talking about in general. And if you take it personal, so be it. Then it's meant for you. Maybe, maybe not. But take the good advice from other people and from me, and run with the good advice. If it's bad advice, ignore it, please. Yeah, because I don't know it all. Joe Schmo, sounds like we was married to the same woman, Colonel. LOL. Well, Joe Schmo, you know, in all fairness, hey, you might have been with my wife, my ex-wife. You might. I mean, I lost track. You know, I lost track. I don't know, and she would never come clean with uh, how deep her infidelity went. Um, and I really shouldn't talk bad about her. Forgive me for that, folks. But even though so many years ago, there's just so much. There's a lot that I know and that I knew. There's so much that I don't know that I wish I knew. But then again, why do I need to know? You know, I'm not with her anymore. And so if my kids are watching this, which I'm sure they're not, but if they are, guys, don't take it the wrong way. I know I'm talking about your mom, but it is what it is. Okay? You guys choose to defend her. That's up to you. I know your mother from completely different angles and aspects than you do, or that you ever will do. So anyway, um, that's funny, Joe. Joe also, I wish you the best of luck with your new lady. Well, thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. We'll see what happens. It might work. It might not work. You know, Bellis is convinced that it's not going to. Him and his wife are convinced it's not going to, and have a lot of negativity towards me with it, and that's fine. That's their opinion. They're allowed to, because they know the girl. It's all good, man. Or I should say the woman. It's funny, man. I'm 61 years old, but even if I would go out to eat with a lady who's 50 or 40, I'll still call them girl. Hey, girl, how you doing? And they're looking, I'm not a girl. And that's a Western woman. You call me girl? I'm not a girl. I'm a grown woman. Whoa, excuse me. In my brain, where I'm still like 18 or 19, excuse me, I'm still calling you a girl. But anyway, hold on, I lost my. There we go. Lost my sensor there. Now it's with me. But anyway, thank you for that, Joe. Appreciate the kind words. Hello from Oregon. God bless. Hey, Lowell. Welcome to the live stream, Lowell. Always happy to have you here, man. I hope you're feeling okay today. Joe, oh, you're up in Ohio. Okay. Yeah, I know Ohio pretty well, actually. I'm from West Virginia, so not too far away from you. I mean, that's where I was originally from. But I did live in West Virginia too. As an adult, I lived in West Virginia, about an hour from where I was born. That enabled me to reconnect with my biological father's family. And then, God bless her, because of my ex-wife, she destroyed that connection. Those folks won't talk to me anymore because of some stuff that she said. And, it's hard to forgive her for that. That was my biological family. They will not respond to me anymore because of some things that she said that were totally uncalled for, and she was totally wrong with what she said. Totally wrong. But she got jealous, and I was talking to. Oh, I'll tell you exactly what it was. I was talking to a female cousin, about the same age as me, and we were discussing the fact that if I'd grown up, then we would have gone to school together, and we probably would have been really close, tight cousins. Now, where I got in trouble was she's extremely attractive, because hey, can I say, man, I come from a good-looking family. But no, I'm joking. I don't consider myself good-looking at all. But anyway, she saw it and got all jealous and said stuff. I was just like totally inappropriate things, and they would not talk to me after that. It's really sad, but that's the way West Virginia people are, man. It takes a lot to gain their trust. But it doesn't take much to lose somebody's trust. And in West Virginia, once you lose trust of a West Virginia person, you're done, man. You're done. Oh, well, that's life. John says, Sir Gino, good morning. Excuse me a second, folks. I got my eyes, for some reason, I don't know, my eyes are watering, and it's making it hard for me to read the chats. So I'm not crying. Maybe I shouldn't, but I'm not. But anyway, okay, Tom Mosca. Tom, is it Mosca or Mosca? Is it a long O or a short O? I want to say your name correctly. We'll just say Tom. Tom says, most new expats here are like the new crew member on the old Star Trek. They're not going to survive, but watch it anyway. And isn't that the truth? I used to watch Star Trek. You always knew it was somebody that you didn't see before, and they brought them into the dialogue. Okay, they're going to get killed. I get you, Tom. That's funny. That's a good analogy, though, man. It's hilarious. Mr. Paradise is in the house. He says, good morning. Good morning, Mr. Paradise. Norm, the older I get, the harder it is to keep my mouth shut. The Philippines will be a challenge. Yeah, dude, because I step in it all the time, man, because I open my mouth and I just say what's on my mind. And sometimes I need to just keep my mouth shut. Like in this live stream, I've already said stuff that I know is going to get back to me, and people are going to be mad. But I'm to the point, you know what? I'm mad too, and I'm tired of it. So I'm just speaking my mind. I'm going back to the way I really am, which is not this kind, gentle teddy bear, but I'm just going to start being the you-know-what that I was before and just speak my mind. And if you don't like it, that's tough. I'll go. I've been alone before. I lived in Thailand for what, 9.5 years. Didn't really have any friends. Now, the one guy that was, I called a friend, we're closer friends now than we were then, but we haven't spoke to him in several months. So, and then another fellow that I considered a friend, we never really did anything together. We went to eat a few times, but he keeps tabs on me every month just to make sure I'm still alive. I don't know why he does it, but that's a friend, the way I look at it. And he'll call me when he's bored and he doesn't have anybody else to talk to. He'll call me and talk to me. So that's about as close to being a friend of mine as I get, I guess, you know. And over here, I got a few friends, but I slowly feel like I'm losing them. But it's okay. Uh, Lowell, I find that I don't tolerate controlling or disrespectful people anymore. Since being sick, I find life is just too short. Amen, Lowell. Amen to that. You know, and shame on us when we are the people that are causing that strife on others. I'm not perfect. Hey, every woman that I meet, I tell them, hey, I'm hard to live with. You know, I don't mean to be that way and I don't want to be that way, but I know at times I'm hard to live with because I have expectations and I'm a pretty, what's the word I want? Principled, or I have set standards that I expect. Now I've gotten a lot lax and even in my personal life, but you know what I find, and this is bad of me, but I put those standards on the people that I'm with in the relationships or whatnot, and I expect them to act a certain way, treat me a certain way, do certain things. And sometimes that can cause some problems, especially if they're not used to doing that. And those are areas that you have to work through in any relationship. But I'm with you, Lon. I know what you're talking about. Chappie says, I don't think intolerant, I don't think intolerant, just not putting so much emphasis on the physical side of a relationship. When a guy is older, these days, just a good conversation and a cup of joe in the morning is great. Ain't that the truth, you know? Because as you get older, let's just be honest, as much as we want, as men, we want the physical side of a relationship. Because let's be honest, men, generally, what attracts us first? We're visual people. We see a photo, oh yeah, she's pretty. I want to talk to her. But we're immediately attracted based on physical appearance. Tell me I'm lying, man. But that's usually men. They're not attracted to a woman immediately just, oh, she's got a great personality. Come on, man. If she is not physically attracted to your eyes and to your brain, you know, which is operating the eyes, you're not going to be interested. It doesn't matter how good her personality is. You might talk to her, but you're not going to be romantically interested in her. And I'm just keeping it real, folks. You know, women tend to be more emotionally oriented. Now, Western women are getting more with the more looking at more of the physical, but generally the way God made women is they're looking at emotional and other things, personalities, emotional stuff as more than physical things. But the men, because we're created to procreate, you know, to keep the human race going, man, we're interested in that physical attractiveness. And if we're not physically attracted, you know, we're generally not going to pursue that woman. But you know, you get the physical attraction, then you pursue them, then you see, well, what's her personality like, you know, and is this person somebody that I can live with? And if you don't take the time to check that out, then there's going to be problems, you know. Let's see. Yeah, Chappie. Yeah, that's right. Just having a good conversation, cup of coffee in the morning, and that's what I told my girl. You know, hey, she knows I like to talk. She doesn't like to talk, and I said, well, that's going to be a problem, and I can't go through life just sitting around with somebody who doesn't talk to me at all. I got to have some type of conversation. But what she is good at is she's good at chatting. And I said, hey, you just send me a message then. Yeah, I'll answer verbally, and you can answer me in writing. Yeah, that's how you get around that. So yeah, those are things you got to look at. Michael, good morning, Michael. He said hello to everyone. Tom, like the capital of Russia. Okay, so Tom Mosca. Okay, I said it right the first time. Then I changed it and said Mosca, and so I apologize. Thanks, Tom, for clarifying. Man, I feel better now. I can go on with my live stream, man. Tom Mosca. I really, you know, my name is very simple, and my last name to me is very simple. But throughout my whole, people butcher my last name or they say it incorrectly all the time, and it's like, I'm like, do you know English? There's certain rules in the English language where if a word is written a certain way or there's certain letters, you know, then it controls how the vowel before it is. Like, think of some cuss words. We don't say fook, you know. We say something when people say that because there's a CK, okay? Like bake, BAKE, okay? It's a long A because it's AKE, okay? But then you change it where you put a C before the K and it becomes back. You don't say bake, you say back because there's a C after. So anyway, I try to tell people, I said, there's a C before that K. So why you keep wanting to say a long vowel before that? But anyway, it's just I grew up with that. So that's why now I'm very cognizant of pronouncing people's names correctly because it used to irritate me because I'm like, you know what, I'm adopted. I had to earn this name. I had to earn this last name. I wasn't born with it. I had to earn it. Because this is what I would always say. I didn't do anything to earn it, but I'm just saying that's how I felt. Like I had to earn this name. I had to live up to the name because I wasn't born with the name. But anyway, Bella's Traveler says, thank you for the plug. I cook for myself 70%. I ain't even going to go there, Bellas. But treat my wife 50-50 like USA, Wyoming, doing house chores too. But that's just me. Okay, Bellas, we'll take you at your word. I'm not going to out you, dude. I'm not going to dispute any of that. We're just going to take you for saying what you're going to say. But Bellas does do a lot of cooking. But let's be honest about it. He's not doing the cooking because his wife won't. He's doing the cooking because he wants to eat what he wants to eat, And I'm the same way. I'll cook stuff because I want American food that maybe the girl I'm with doesn't know how to cook unless I teach her. So it's not because they won't do it, because they will. Filipino women will downright take care of every iota, every little need that you have. They will take care of it. For the most part. I'm sure there's ones out there that don't. But for the most part, the culture over here is that the wife still takes care of their husband. And what I've noticed in my observations, even when the husband's a deadbeat and he's not working, he's not doing anything, that wife, she is still loving on him, taking care of every little bit of his need, even though he's a worthless, individual, not supporting his family, not earning money. Now, you could throw out all kinds of reasons for that, but I'm just saying, not putting forth the effort to try to support his family. Because I've seen a lot of couples like that, young couples and stuff, and my heart goes out to them because the woman is struggling. She's sad. She's got a child or maybe more than one, and the he's either not working, he's hanging around with his buddies, drinking Tanduay or whatever, and smoking. And I'm like, if you would just stop your drinking and smoking, you'd have money in your pocket right there, Or they're working and, making minimum wage, so they're not making that much, and maybe they're away from their family. So there's all kinds of variables, and we can't be too harsh on some of these guys, but I see it. I see this stuff. Will your kids visit you in the Philippines? My children are more than welcome to visit me in the Philippines, but because of their young children, they probably won't for various reasons, and up to them. But even without that, I doubt it. My youngest, now she has a baby now, so she's tied up with that part of life. But before that, she'd come visit me, and she's been to the Philippines before, but not to visit me. She was here on a missions trip before, years ago, and so she could. She makes enough money. She could fly first class both ways, and the one in the middle. So you know what I mean. But she never did, and I don't expect her to. But they've all been invited. Panay Hart, hi Colonel. Oh, we got to be careful now. Panay Hart's here. She'll start correcting me. I'm joking, Panay Hart. I appreciate you being here. I don't think you've been in my stream for a while. Let me hook up Panay Hart because she's got a channel going. There we go. There's Panay Hart. There's her page, folks. If you want to look at her page sometime, help her out, help her grow her channel. She's a wonderful woman living in the U.S. with her husband, and she comes on these live streams. Me, Bellis, James, and Karen, many people, and she supports the channels, and she gives us some words of wisdom from her perspective, which are truly usually words of wisdom. And I don't think has said anything that I've disagreed with. Now we're not on the same page, in our faith, but it's okay. We have the basic same faith, because I'm not Catholic. Chappie says, hello, Panay. Hi, Panay from Norm. Panay Hart says, hi, Chappie. Hi, Norm. Same, my last name gets butchered as well. Well, I don't know what your last name is, Chappie, but we'll take your word for it, man. It's frustrating, especially when you have, like mine. My last name is so simple. It's 2 syllables, and it's so simple. And you're like, how can you screw that up, man? How can you screw it up? It's so easy. But they do all the time. And it's funny, over here in the Philippines, they usually pronounce it correctly. In the U.S., they butcher it every time. It's just like, I'm looking at them like, you even know how to speak English? You live in an English-speaking country. I'm over here in a country where Tagalog is the national language and English, and they do better with the English than they do in America, in the U.S. You just have to laugh. That's what I love about Tagalog, etc. You know exactly how to pronounce the vowels. Okay, no. I haven't figured it out yet then. It's terrifying when Marissa starts clipping my finger and toenails. Norm, why is that terrifying, man? Unless she's trying to round them off. And man, yeah, I had a Filipino one time decide to give me a pedicure, and she swore up and down I had ingrown toenail. I'm like, no, I don't. No, I don't. But she whacked the whole side. My big toes still haven't recovered from that, and that's been almost 2 years ago. I'm still jacked up down on my feet there, but yeah, I'm like, whoa, what are you doing? After she hacked off half my toenail, on one side, I'm like, oh my goodness gracious, let alone the fact it was painful. But that's funny. That's funny, Norm. But you know what, Norm? What other woman would do that? Are the women in America going to give you a manicure and a pedicure? I seriously doubt it. I would say 99% of them, they're not doing that. You ask them, hey, can you cut? What? No, man, I'm touching your nasty feet. They won't do. But whoops, oh man, hold on, I dropped something. My love. Oh, I lost my. Come back here. Come on. Come to daddy. Come back. There you go. I lost my little pocket knife. But anyway, yeah, I went to Thailand, and I seen, because in Europe, this, I guess it's normal for the European men, but American men generally, they're not going to have a manicure and a pedicure done. You take care of that stuff yourself. But over in Thailand, it was like normal. I'm like, oh, I'm going to try that one time. So I did it. I was like, dude, man, that's awesome. Why didn't I ever do that before? I'm thinking, well, my American wife would have never done that, But the women there in Thailand, and I'm sure, have you ever gone into a barbershop in Vietnam? I haven't, but I've watched some videos, and I'm like, that's the ticket right there, man. That's full service barbershop, man. You get the haircut, taking care of the nose hair, the ears, cleaning out the ear wax, massage, manicure. I mean, it's incredible. They do everything. Well, I don't know if they do everything, but I'm just saying, it's a full service barbershop. It's not just cutting hair. I got to stop that before I get in trouble. Derek, I've been Marie's Filipino wife for 40 years. She take care of me. I think you wrote that wrong, Derek. Correct me. You've been her wife. I've been Marie's Filipino wife for 40 years. She take care of me. I think okay, she's been your wife for 40 years. Brother, I just read it the way you wrote it, man. Well, that's great. That's the way it's supposed to be. And more than likely, you're taking care of her. I hope you are. I hope you're taking care of your wife. You should be if you're not. Panay Hart's laughing. I don't know which part you're laughing. I hope you're laughing at something I said and not mad at me. Just came home, went with my husband's VA appointment. It was a very interesting conversation with the VA doctor. Okay, okay, I can't even venture. Oh, you're going to talk about it later. Okay, hold on. We're doing this morning, Henry Broussard. We're doing this morning, Colonel. Okay. I don't know how we got on to manicure and pedicures. That's not what this live stream was about. But anyway, oh, check that out. I got 18 thumbs up, 12 people in the house. That's awesome. If you didn't hit that thumbs up, go ahead and tap it because that helps your algorithm and that helps bring more people in. And maybe they can tell us about their manicure pedicure experiences. I don't know. Or they can talk to us about their controlling spouses, whether it's husband or wife. Panay Hart at home says, but we end up the appointment. Okay, but we end up the appointment. He told me that he was happy to meet me and advocating for my husband. LOL. We told him we were moving back to the Philippines and he was discouraging my husband. Discouraging your husband from moving back to the Philippines? And it's been my experience, not all the VA doctors, especially in the U.S., if they say they're trying to help them, it's not always the case. But it did work for me here in the Philippines. The Filipino doctors were outstanding as far as my VA appointments. I gave many reasons why my husband will be better off in the Philippines since VA doesn't give those important helps that he need. LOL. Well, there you go. There you go. And Panay Hart, I'm sure that you're the one giving your husband those important helps. Am I wrong? I think you're the one. You're the difference. And I don't mean anything bad by that. Just keeping it real. Lowell says, I just had ingrown toenail surgery this morning. Dang, Lowell, that's TMI, brother. But we were talking about it, so it's okay. I hope it went well. I hope it heals up good. And I hope it works out for you, man. But yeah, I brought up the ingrown toenail, so I can't say nothing to you, brother. I'm wrong for that, man. I shouldn't have said that to you. Chappie says, no way would my wife do that. She is Hispanic. I can't even get her to cook. I do all the cooking and take care of my special needs son. I tell you what, Chappie, I don't think that's systemic of Hispanic women. I think most Hispanic women, they're taking care of the house and they're taking care of their husband real well, and especially when it comes to the cooking. If I had a Hispanic lady, which I've always been partial to Hispanic women too, the Asian thing just started after I went to Thailand. I was just like, whoa, okay. Why did I ever? And I got to the point where I'm not even attracted to American women anymore. That's sad, but it's true. I'm not. And I've had some contact me, but I'm just not attracted. I've always liked dark hair, dark eyes. Okay, so that could be Hispanic, that can be Asian, it could be some American, it could be Italian. But anyway, yeah, I don't even remotely. Now, I can recognize that there's pretty American women because that's just a fact. There's some very beautiful women in America, but I'm just not attracted to it anymore. The whole package, I'm not attracted to it, and the attitude and the culture, just not attracted to it anymore. How are you feeling now, Lowell? See, that's a true Filipino right there, Lo. You know, she met you on the chat and she's checking to see how you're doing. You know, that's why we come over here to the Philippines for a woman in the Philippines. Because they care. And even if they don't care, they act like they do. I'm sorry, but I had to say that. But no, I'm okay. Just, oh, come on now. Not the bleeding part. I don't feel anything. I have severe diabetic neuropathy in both feet. Man, Lowell, you're just, you got it rough, Lowell. You got it rough, man. I hope everything works out for you. Visit the Happy Ending Barbershop, Norm says. Norm, you're trying to get us in trouble, brother. Brother, don't go there. Trying to get us in trouble. They didn't show any of that in the videos I saw. But, they got the magnifying glasses on and they got that little screen tool for digging down into your ear and they're pulling chunks of your brain out, Earwax. I call you, but man, they're pulling stuff. I'm just like, holy smokes, man. I'm hoping they don't bring out the eardrum or something. But yeah, that's a full service barbershop. There's extensive, those Vietnamese barbershops. I got to check it out sometime. I just got to force myself to do it. Now I got a feeling the new girlfriend might not go for that. She might not go for that. Anyway, we'll see. Derek. Yeah, the autocorrect, Derek. I know. I hate it. Sometimes I like it, but usually I hate it. Stone Cold's in the house. Your subs have exploded. Did you buy subs or so Bellis wouldn't have bragging rights? I don't buy subs, Stone Cold. You know, Fox accused Bellis of that, and Bellis denied it and said he didn't buy. I don't buy him either. That's illegal, by the way. YouTube will get you if you're doing that. I don't do it. Local guy complaining this morning on a flight to Rojas was full of old white guys with young girls. Powell asked everyone not to take photos. Must be going to the Beaver. Maybe so, Tom. I'm going to the Beaver on the 8th, you know, for the expat get together. If they're going, what's today? What is today? Yeah, I guess it's tomorrow. Is the get together. I'll be riding up there tomorrow. Probably going to get soaking wet. I'll be hopping on the little Yamaha PG1 that I have and taking the trip up there. Staying at a hotel there in Rojas City, and going to meet a lot of people and have a lot of talking and hopefully have a good time. I won't be getting drunk. I don't do that. The last time I was there, I wasn't real pleased with the food, but it is what it is. Restaurants change over time, and the Beaver, that's happening to the Canadian Beaver. It's changing over time. I'm still going to go there for the get together. That's funny. Old white guys with young gals. Well, you know, you can't fault the old guy if he likes a young girl. That's actually the natural progression of things. James sent me a good video the other day of this young lady talking about that. And I sent it to my girlfriend because I'm like, you know, that's right on the money what she's saying. You know, the younger woman needs stability and the wisdom of an older man. And the older man needs the vitality and the energy of the younger lady to help him be young again. And then he teaches her the wisdom of life that he's had so that she can possibly learn and gain that wisdom at a younger age. Why is that so terrible? Just because in American culture or Western culture, it's taboo, you know, or they think you're a cradle robber or whatever, or the P word. Give me a break. If they're of age, okay? And I was that way when I first went to Thailand. I was kind of like, my first girlfriend, well, she was older because that was what we do in America. Then I realized, and I looked around, I'm like, no, man, the younger ladies here, they want older guys because they want our stability. And they know that if we're still alive at this point in life, we must know a little bit about life, right? You know? So don't be so hard on us old guys with the if they have younger ladies. Panay Hart. Right, at Colonel, I reached out to White House, got no choice. That is why they wanted to see him today. There you go, Panay Hart. You're an awesome lady. Your husband is very fortunate that you're in his corner. Hello, keep telling your doctor you're feeling. I hope you feel better soon. Lowell, do you monitor your sugar? I'm sure he does, Panay Hart. I'm sure he does. Oh, Panay, thank you. God bless. Leo, where you been, man? Down there in New Mexico. I haven't seen your name in a good long time. Hi, Colonel. Nice to see you on live. God bless. Thanks, Leo. Well, I haven't seen Leo in a hot minute. It's been a long time. A hot minute means a long time. Lowell says, Panay, I do sometimes. My last HA1C was 5.7. Chappie says, get a good steak for me at the Canadian Beaver, Colonel. I never had steak there, you know, unless it's what they call chicken steak. You know, the steak and it's a slab of chicken, a chicken breast that's been smashed. Now I usually get the Canadian Beaver burger. I think they still have that on the menu. They've changed that menu so much. It's not at all what it used to be, folks. And that's not criticizing, just keeping it real. Panay Hart, younger women that gets everything they want so easy is way different compared to a young woman who was forced to help their family at an early age. You're right, Panay Hart. That's why we talk about, and James talk about too. Go out to the province, find a girl out in the provinces that didn't have it easy. If you go up to Manila and you start dating, because I've gone out on dates with women in Manila, and I choose not to do it anymore. It's a whole different attitude up there. A lot of them come from affluent families, because contrary to popular belief, folks, if you haven't realized this, not everybody in the Philippines is poor. Come on now. You can think that if you want, because you watch videos of these jokers go out there and take videos of these real poor areas and people sitting out there and the babies hanging on their mom. Come on, man. That's not the way it is everywhere in the Philippines, okay? There's some very wealthy and affluent individuals in the Philippines. And even there's a burgeoning middle class, and there's people that are working, there's people that are OFWs. They're sending money back. It's not all about poorness over here, okay? Now, are there poor people here? It is their poverty? Absolutely. And it's sad and it's real. So there you go. Find someone who wasn't just handed everything. Because I've dated some, like I said, dated some of those girls in Manila. They've been handed everything, and they have certain expectations and everything, and their attitude's a little bit different. But then you go out in the provinces and you meet a young lady, a woman or maybe it's a single mom that's had some hardship in life, and she's had to make her own way, and she's had to survive and feed her children on her own with no help from anybody, but maybe her family, maybe not her family. You have someone there that appreciates life more, and they're going to appreciate you more. It doesn't mean you just give them the farm, you just give them everything. But what you do give them, they appreciate it. That's my take. Let's see, actually, all right. You're welcome at Lowell Rest Well. Tom Mosca actually was the fellow's wife making the comment about the foreigners. Okay. Hey, let them talk, Maritas and all that stuff. It's all good. Maybe she knows something we don't know. Stone Cold, can you reveal your late girl's age or age bracket 30 to 35, for example? Yeah, I can. It is true. Doesn't mean I'm going to. It is true. Poor people in the Philippines is poor. No government support, unlike in the U.S. Low income can still get help, can still have housing and food stamps. Yeah, Panay Hart. Not going to argue with that. Tom Mosca, check out the Black Sand when you're here. Has the best steaks in Rojas, just up the road from the Beaver. Oh, he opened his restaurant? I know what you're talking about. He was still working on it last time I was in Rojas. It wasn't open yet. I can only imagine what his price point is, though. I imagine he's because it seemed to me like he's trying to run an upscale restaurant there. That guy, I've seen the videos with that Philippines Life with Michael Smith. He's had that guy on his channel a couple times, videoing the progress of that restaurant. Yeah, I'm not a big steak person anymore. I very rarely even eat beef now. I bought some ground beef and the things I was cooking, and I've used, but honestly, I just do the chicken and the pork usually. Now that I've been in the Philippines, I've gotten beef more, and I have those steaks up there. But excuse me, I got excuse me, man. Wait, there'll be another one coming probably. If not, we're lucky. But yeah, I said I'm not a steak person. I got real thin steaks, ribeyes up there in the freezer because I hadn't had them for years, and I wanted to try them. Excuse that sneeze, folks. Man. Hey, when your nose tickles, it tickles. But yeah, there's nothing like a good steak. But I'm not one of those guys. I just got to have a steak. But sometimes I like to have a steak once in a while. Mr. Paradise, my wife grew up in the province and has been a great wife for the last 15 years. And Mr. Paradise, that's the story I like to hear. And that's the way it's supposed to be. Not dysfunctional like mine. Panay Hart, in the USA, we get in trouble if minor kids are left home without an adult. In the Philippines, parents are forced to leave their minor kids so they can find ways to bring food to the table. It is what it is. Yeah, but Panay Heart, let's be fair in that situation too. A lot of the Filipino kids are left at home. Grandma's, Lola's watching them, or Tita, aunt and uncle, or there's a grandparent, or mom and dad are watching the children. That's been my experience. But are there some left alone to fend for themselves? I'm sure there is. You'll see the pictures out there. The videos. You'll see a little girl and she's out there scrounging up little food and feeding it to her baby brother. You see that, and you're like, where's the parents? Well, because hopefully the parents are trying to work somewhere to earn a living. Sometimes, unfortunately, and this is the ugly side of the Philippines, if you were to follow those two children back to their house, you might see that the father's passed out because he was drunk, and maybe the mother's on something, and that's sad, but it's a reality. And we don't want to dwell on that because we want to stay positive and stay focused on the positive side of the Philippines. But if we want to get real, it's just like any other country. There's a bad side to any country that you go to. Henry Broussard. Oh, good morning, Henry. Bless you, Colonel. Henry, man, I appreciate that. We need all the Lord's blessings that we can get. And in all honesty, I can complain and moan and cry about things that have happened to me in my life and everything. But overall, in a whole, in 61, almost 62 years, I've had a blessed life. I truly have. But it's because of the negative things and the bad things that happened have given me the ability to recognize and appreciate the blessings that I have received, and look at it from a broader perspective of like, okay, there's ups and downs, but I'm always going in an upward direction, and that's when you've had a good life, even though you've had some hardship, you've had some tragedies, but overall, you've been blessed, and I truly have been blessed. I recognize, and that's not bragging, that's just being thankful to the good Lord for the blessings that He's bestowed upon me, whether I deserve them or not, because I surely don't feel like I deserve anything. Derek says, I do like Hamburger Helper. I like some of them, but not all of them. And Gino keeps saying there's Hamburger Helper at S&R, but I haven't seen it yet. So I'm obviously not looking. I'm not looking for it, probably, or I'm not looking in the right aisle. Or when I go there, they ran out. And that's the thing about S&R. He brought this up too in his live stream. If you see something in S&R that you like and you really want, by God, you better buy it right then and there, because it might not be there next time you go in, and you might not see it for a few months till they get another shipment. Nothing wrong with Hamburger Helper. I think what did I like? The one that was lasagna or whatever? I think that was the one that I liked. I mainly eat chicken there. The pork is too fatty, and I don't like seafood. Yeah, but Norm, the pork is what gives it, or the fat's what gives it flavor, man. I used to cut all the fat off, man. I'm not eating this fat. But LaShawn, if it's done correctly over here, man, that's some good flavor. It absolutely ain't good for you, but it sure tastes good. And it cracks me up. Some places you go to a Filipino's house and they're making that pork soup and whatnot. If you don't like fat, you're not getting anything from the meat family, because that's what you're getting in the soup. Little tiny piece of pork with that big layer of fat, and then the skin. And that's what they're boiling in that soup for the flavor and everything. If you don't eat that, you're not going you're going to get a little square rectangle of pork attached to that fat. And if you're just eating meat, that's all the meat you're getting. And you might only get 3 or 4 pieces in your bowl. So it'll help you lose weight, I guess, It's all good. Panay Heart. I told my husband he will miss steak when he moves to the Philippines. He told me that he wasn't crazy about steak. That's right, Panay Heart. He's got you. What does he need steak for? He has you in his life. He doesn't need steak. He's got a good woman. I'm kind of being funny. Low, but funny, but the truth too. He will be happy as long as he's with you. Eat both beef and chicken breast most of the time. You eat beef breast? That's a new. I didn't know there was beef. I didn't know they served beef breast. Oh, you eat both beef, okay, and chicken breast most of the time. I know what you meant, dude. I was just messing with you, Lo. It was just funny the way I read that. It's like it's like you're saying. I like beef breast and chicken breast. That's funny. Or to me, it's funny. Maybe not to you guys. It's probably not funny, but to me, the Colonel. I find the dumbest stuff hilarious. And I'll laugh at the stupidest stuff, you know. Like, I don't go to movies much anymore, but you have some of those comedies and stuff where they'll do a one line and you're the only one laughing because you're the only one who thought it was funny. That's the Colonel. That's me. I'm the only one laughing at some of the stuff that they say, and everybody else is like, look, like that dude thought that was funny. What? Yeah, I thought it was funny. But anyway, I was left alone. This is Panay Hart. I was left alone where at least my parents can ask my neighbors to check on me. Yeah, so it wasn't, at least you had your neighbors. I was a good kid, I guess. Pause. Panay Hart says she was a good kid. She guesses she was a good kid. Didn't do anything to harm myself, nor our house. Okay, so you didn't destroy the house. You didn't hurt yourself. My friends did the same thing. We understood the situations. And there you go. There you go. You understand the situation you're in and you adapt to it. You overcome. And you do what you need to do. You do what you need to do. What's that? You adapt, you improvise, you overcome. That's what Panay Hart did in her childhood. I'm sure she was probably a good girl. She's a good lady, so I'm sure she was a good girl. And you know what's funny? Let's talk about that for a second. I used to tell everybody I was a good kid. And because I thought I was, But as I look back on my life, I realized I really wasn't a good kid. I was mischievous. I was deceitful, conniving. I was a bad kid. I think about some of the stuff I did. I was a bad kid. But it's funny, in my midlife, I always thought I was a good kid. But then I started looking back at how much stuff I hid from my parents, how many times I probably lied to my parents, tried to get over, lied for my brother to cover for my brother, sneaking out at night, doing stuff I should, imbibing things I shouldn't have been putting into my body. And, I was a bad kid doing stuff to little kids when I was a teenager that is just totally abhorrent now. And I had not, yeah, my kids would have paid the price if I caught them doing what I was doing to little kids, stealing their candy at Halloween, chasing them down. I was bad, but I never thought, it was funny. I never thought I was. But as I look back on it, I was a bad kid. I thought I was good, but turns out I really wasn't that good. I was pretty bad. There's a lot of things I didn't do because my parents protected me from it, but I made up for it later on. Lowell says, I was left, hold on, make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay. Lowell says, I was left to my own devices growing up, was kicked outside and told don't come back until dark. You had good parents, Lowell. No, I'm just kidding with you. That's funny. But that happens a lot, man. Go outside and play. Come back when the street lights come on. My mom wasn't like that, but my mom was like, okay, you can go out and play, but you need to be back. Well, we had to be back at 5 p.m. Now, if we were lucky enough where she let us go out after dinner, when the street lights are on, you need to come back inside. Okay, Mom. And we did, because there was heck to pay if we didn't. Which usually meant our backside was going to get tanned. Tom Mosky, yes, doing great, has a large menu price, is no problem for a rich blogger like you. Rich? Dude, who says I'm rich, man? Oh my goodness. I'm not, and if you think I'm getting money from YouTube, I'm not even monetized, and I'm not going to be monetized anytime soon because, my watch hours is like minimal. And I pinned Bellis earlier. He's so close he can smell it. So help him out and get him over to hump. Me, I'm just plugging along. I'm getting a few watch hours each day, and that's all good. And when it happens, it happens. But maybe by some Filipino provinces person's view on life, I'm rich. But as a Westerner, negatory, I am not rich. Not even close. I've been blessed, but I'm not rich. Okay? I'm rich in life, and I'm rich in blessings. But financially and monetarily, am I rich? No. If I was rich, would I be living in this dumpy little house that I'm living in? No. Would I be driving my little PG-1? Well, I shouldn't say that. I got rid of a Kimco AK-550 that I spent a lot of money on and regret. But no, I'm not rich, brother. But thanks for thinking that. Maybe once in a while to go in that restaurant, possibly. You said it's doing great, so that's good to know. Um, I don't know. Since you said the menu price is no problem for a rich blogger like me, that tells me that it's more than I want to spend. But I'll probably check it out just to check it out. I'll pay for it one time. Probably won't ever go back. Chappie, Panay, myself, and brother were both latchkey kids, and us both parents worked till 11 p.m. overnight. We were home alone. Yeah, unfortunately, in America, that's what it's come to. That's why, like when I was raising my children, like the first 10 years until all the kids were in school, um, my wife, now my ex-wife, we decided she would stay at home, and we just struggled financially. And I worked two jobs all the time. And I would leave the prison, and then I would go deliver pizza or whatever. And when I was in the army, did the same thing. I'd get off duty and I'd go deliver pizza. Did I work at McDonald's? No, that was when I was in college. But yeah, you did what you had to do. And unfortunately, in the U.S., because of the lifestyles that people want to have and the socioeconomic level they want to be at, it forces both parents to work. And who suffers? The children suffer. And that's why we're having some of the issues we're having in the U.S. because the children are being raised by what? They're being raised by the television and now by YouTube. Not that it's a bad thing, but you need to monitor that. You need to be wise. And so I talk about this all the time. See a little kid. What's the first thing you do? Give the little kid the cell phone. They're already at 1.5, 2 years old. They're married to a cell phone already. And if you don't control that, and I'm sure I'm going to probably have to be dealing with that too, maybe in the future. But it's something that it's a reality that's out there. And there's consequences. Remember my video, consequences? There's consequences for everything that we allow our children to do or don't do. Okay. Panay Hart says, wow, Atlo, how old were you that time? My father did that to my brother too. Norm, maybe it's also seeing the flies buzzing around it at the wet market. Yeah, Norm, that's something else. And I seen this one time in Thailand. I was like, remember one day at band camp? Well, one day in Thailand, I went to the market, and I tell you what, that meat was just full covered with flies. I mean, all you can see with the flies, you couldn't see the meat. And as you walk up there, the vendor takes this little thing and he goes, shh, 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 shh. All the flies go flying out. And he's like, shh, shh. See, and I'm like, sorry, dude, I ain't buying it. You can shoot them flies away all you want. I've seen it before. I ain't buying that because I know what those flies were doing on that meat. And I don't know where those flies had landed before they got. And I used to tell my Thai families that they're shooing the flies, and then I said, you know where that fly was just a couple minutes ago? That same exact fly. I could have sworn I seen him over there on that dog poop. And now he's flying over here in the food and you're putting it in your mouth. You go for it. I ain't eating it. And they're looking at me like, shut up, man. We're eating it anyway. We're hungry. More power to them. Excuse me. Oh, I was very young, second grade. That's from Lou. Colonel, is meaningful conversation important for you in a relationship? Isn't it important in everybody's relationship? If not, you might as well be by yourself. Thank you. Just my opinion, Lou. If you like to be in a relationship and you're both silent all the time, and you have your backs to each other and you don't communicate, and that's the kind of relationship that you want, go for it. It's not the kind of relationship I want. Thank you, Colonel. Yes, I am better than his ex-wife for sure, LOL. I'm not even going to respond to that. That speaks for itself, Panay Hart. Yeah, it speaks for itself. You can always go to Texas Roadhouse at Cebu. I heard Ilo coming soon. I don't even think they've even started building the one here in Ilo. They got a big sign up there. I've been told it's been there for years. But it's not being built yet. I've been to Texas Roadhouse, Derek. Overpriced restaurant that it is. But it's fun to go in there. Now, here in the Philippines, it's fun to go to Texas Roadhouse when they start singing. and they start singing and dancing just like they do in the U.S., but they Philippinize it. I made up a word there. They Philippinize it, and it's great, man. I was rolling. I thought it was. I even gave them a big old cheer and clap after they were done because they were 100% into it and going for it, and they put the Filipino spin on it, and that was cool. That was cool. Yeah, I would go back just to see that. But there's also Texas Roadhouse in Manila, and I used to eat at the Olive Garden right across the plaza from the Texas Roadhouse. That's not just in Cebu, and there's several Texas Roadhouses in Manila, for sure, and they got other steakhouses too. They got Chili's, they got TGI Fridays, they got all the American restaurants. Pretty cool. Let's see. I believe that this is from Lou. I believe that communication is different from meaningful conversation. Yeah, Lou, because communication encompasses more than just talking. There's nonverbal communication, there's actions, because, we always say actions speak louder than words. You're absolutely right. So communication is different than meaningful conversation. Let me go back up and see what you said. I got to read it again. Is meaningful conversation important for you in a relationship? Well, I think meaningful conversation in the context of communication, yeah, absolutely important to me. Okay? I just roll it into one. Now, I can have a meaningful conversation with anybody, but it won't be the same meaningful conversation that I have with a loved one. We're having a meaningful conversation right now, but are we going to go any further than that? You better say no. Let's see. I'm joking. Panay Hart, same thing. I did many things, and some of them hurt my mom, but how do we learn from our mistakes if we never do anything that teaches us what's right and wrong? Absolutely, Panay Hart. Words of wisdom right there. From our young Filipina woman in America. Tita Marie is back. Good morning. Tita Marie says hello. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a good day. I hope your health is well, and that goes for everybody. I hope you guys are all healthy and you're doing well. Lowell, we know you have a myriad of health issues, brother, and all we can do is just pray for a good result from all of that, and for you to have comfort. Do people get divorced in Thailand and the Philippines, or is it against the law? Now, Hapa, I thought you knew that. Now, see, in Thailand, people can get divorced very easily. Okay, in the Philippines, you cannot. There is no divorce in the Philippines. Now, there's exceptions, okay, and there's annulment, okay? But most of your exceptions are going to be foreigners married to a Filipino where they got married in the U.S. or in their country. And then they get divorced in their country, and they bring that here to the Philippines, the documentation, and they get that apostilled here, and then the divorce is recognized here. Okay? I'm pretty sure I've said that correctly. If I didn't, and you're a lawyer, if you're a Filipino lawyer, you can correct me on what I said. But I think that's the way it works, I believe, to the best of my knowledge. Panay Hart, you should have a driver and a nanny who holds an umbrella for you every day to keep you from getting sunburned if you're that rich. Pfft. I live by myself in a house by myself, and I'm alone, and nobody's holding the umbrella for me. I don't even use an umbrella. And I don't worry about the sunburn except on the top of my head, and then I wear a ball cap, and I usually wear it backwards like I'm Joe from Bazooka Joe, and I'm wearing the ball cap backwards. And I know as a 61-year-old wearing a ball cap backwards people think that's stupid, disrespect, but that's the way I like the way that's the look I like better. When I wear it forward with these glasses, I just think I look like a goofball. I don't like it, so I turn around and I think I look okay. Now everybody else might think I look silly, but I don't care. I don't care. It's all good. But now, I've been in relationships, lived in a relationship with people where long-term relationships there at Panay Hart, where I suggested getting a nanny, and yeah, that was shot down real quick by the Filipina, and she had her reasons for it, and I'm looking at her like, really? You really think that that's going to happen? I'm like, oh my goodness gracious. I'm just like, no, it happens every time. And I'm like, oh my. And she's like, no, the nanny ends up sleeping with the foreigner, and I'm not going to have it. Like, oh, like, please. I told her, you're not giving me much credit. I got no integrity. Oh my goodness. That's right, Panay Hart. HAPA, there is no divorce in the Philippines except for the exceptions that I talked about, which still means there's no divorce in the Philippines. If you're married here, you're married here. There's no divorce. You can get an annulment, possibly, if you have a lot of money and you've got justification. Because even if you got a lot of money, you spend it, the judge can still say, no, we're not giving you the annulment. Now, when I'm talking about Catholic Church annulment, I'm talking about government annulment. Does your love interest know your channel? And if yes, has she visited a live stream? Yes and no. Well, maybe she has, but she hasn't said anything to my knowledge. She's very shy, Stone Cold. And I don't blame her for one. I mean, there's some vicious individuals in here. Why does she want to subject herself to that? I don't blame her. Someday, if it happens, and I'm sure someday it will. I'll introduce her someday if we're still going strong. And but she's very camera shy, and we'll see. And some people will say nice things, and some people will be haters. And honestly, I don't care about the haters so much, except that if it hurts somebody's feelings, then I care, and then I'm going to get hostile. Or I'm just going to, ignore it, hide it, delete it, whatever, put you out of my life, whatever. I'm a typical man. I usually, most men, we protect our love interest. Some don't. Some abuse it, but I'm not an abuser. But thanks for asking, Stone Cold. I hope you got like zero information from my answer. Oh, I see Panay. That's definitely different than the U.S. You gotta love Stone Cold, man. He's always fishing. He's always fishing. He goes on these channels, these different channels, and he's always fishing for information. There's always somebody like that. God love you, Stone Cold. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, HAPA. Yeah, Panay, that's different in the U.S. Yes, it is. At HAPA, we have an annulment. It costs a lot, and as long as someone doesn't move on, the process can take forever. Absolutely. Tom Mosca, two of my rice mill workers. Oh, Tom, I know who you are. Yeah, good morning to you, sir. It just clicked. I know who you are. Yes, I've seen your videos, I believe. Yeah. Yeah, welcome to the channel, man. It just clicked. I think you're friends with James and Karen, and it just clicked who you are, man. Because I want to come out there. I want to see because you got some big things going on out there. One has 10. This is his rice mill worker. One has 10 kids. One has 9. They're both squatting in a bamboo shack. Don't have a care in the world. There you go. But they're going through life and they're doing what they have to do in their life. That's all it takes, folks. You don't have to have the biggest house. You don't have to have the most expensive car. Because I've had all those. And I wouldn't say I had the biggest house because I didn't. But I've had nice homes. And I definitely had nice cars. I drove that Porsche like I stole it. But it got to be too expensive after a while. And, but yeah. So I've had all that. And I came to the realization, things are just things. They don't make you happy. You can have fun. And you can smile while you do, but it doesn't bring you internal happiness and internal joy. Things are just things. If the other party is willing to shoulder the cost of the annulment and offer something so both parties agree to it, I think the process can be faster. Okay, Panay Hart. Yeah, it sounds like they're greasing the skids. Anybody know the term greasing the skids? I remember the first time I heard my dad said that, greasing the skids. He had to explain it to me. But yeah, it sounds to me like if you grease the skids, you can make it happen a lot faster. It's going to be a lot smoother. Derek says, have you been to, I don't know what you're saying, Lee? I don't know what you're saying there. L-I? I don't know what you're saying, Derek. Say it. I think you sent that before you, by accident, I think. Neil, good morning, Niels. Niels is in the house. Hello, brother. Interesting, Panay. Niels, good to see you here, man. Oh, Derek, have you been to Viking Buffet? Yes, I've been to Viking Buffet, but honestly, there was so much food in there, I didn't get my money's worth. I was full. I was full before I got my money's worth. Now I think my stomach stretched out back out again, and that was back when I was really strict on my diet, on my intermittent fasting and stuff, and my stomach had shrunk a little bit, and I couldn't eat so much. And I was like, man, I can't come here and eat. That's too much money to leave all this food behind because they had some good food in there. I wouldn't call it, I had this with Ray. I wouldn't call it fine dining, but there's some good food in there. And they try to act like it's fine dining, but I'm like, it's a buffet, man. It's not fine dining. It's thinking buffet. But the food was outstanding. The food was good. And then I looked at one of them and I saw drinks and they're like unlimited beer. And I'm like, oh my goodness, good thing I don't drink beer. I imagine there's some people probably stumbling out of there. But I didn't stay long enough to find out. Panay Hart, I have friends that are still married, but they are not with their husband for more than 10 years. Yeah, and I've met people like that, Panay Hart, and it's sad. That's the one thing why I have issue. I have issue, and we've had this discussion before, and you and I had disagreement about it, so much so that your husband had to come on and make a comment. But that's why I have issues with the law here in the Philippines. I know why it is the way it is, but they're just causing people to live, if you want to call it living in sin, committing adultery, which is also illegal here in the Philippines, but people are doing it. They've moved on and their spouse is left behind, and maybe their spouse is a stand-up individual and they won't be with another person the rest of their life. Meanwhile, the other person's out there, shacking up with whoever, Yeah, don't get me started on that. It irritates me. I seen on the news a cook stuck his ear. Okay. Derek, okay. Panay Heart at Home, I have a friend who was able to get an annulment because she paid for the entire process. She spent almost 10,000. Is that US dollars, I imagine, just to be free. Yeah, I've heard stories over here, 400,000 pesos. Some people have said 300, but generally I hear 400,000 pesos just to get into the court. Appa, is there such a thing as child support in the Philippines? Help me out with that, Panay Heart. I don't child support. There may be, but I don't think too many men are doing it. But I don't believe so because there's no divorce. So how can you sue for child support? Now I do believe that some men are paying child support voluntarily, but court ordered, I don't think so. I don't know. So I can't comment because I really don't know. I heard a cook at Olive Garden stuck his head in hot grease. He died. Well, that's craziness, Derek. That's just craziness. I hate that for his family, but I guess he had had enough. Or he wanted to test how hot that grease was. I guess he found out the hard way. Happened, not really, unless they take their spouse to court. This is talking about child support. If their spouse can't pay child support, they can't garnish anything from them. That was my understanding, Panahar, but I didn't want to speak about something I'm not totally versed on and didn't have firsthand knowledge on. Hapa says, I see Panay, hello from Japan, and my Japanese friend, I'm sorry, I can't read your name because I don't read Japanese, so I apologize for that, but I will give you a bow. Thanks for coming on to the live stream. Appreciate you being here. I've been to Japan, not as a tourist though. I was just passing through, and I took that long bus ride from what's the name of that? Nagasaki? No, what's the name of the airport? The two airports. I went from one to the other. About an hour bus ride. And I couldn't see anything because the highways were covered. They had walls up so you couldn't see out. It was really frustrating. Norm says, I'm pretty sure even if you are married in the Philippines, you can travel to your home country and get the divorce. Norm? I don't think it works that way in America. Unless if you took your marriage papers from the Philippines to America and you got the marriage recognized in the US, yes, then you would be able to get the divorce. You would be able to get the divorce in the U.S. for the recognition part on that. But you're still going to be married in the Philippines if you got married in the Philippines. There may be some fine print in that. Because I know if you marry in a foreign country, a person from the Philippines, and you get divorced in that country, I know you can bring it to the Philippines and get it recognized, get the divorce recognized. So there may be some, yeah, that's an interesting question. We have to get an attorney in here to talk about that. Man, maybe JRC would reach out to me and discuss that, or maybe oh man, and C&G Consulting. Maybe she could bring her attorney in here. Why am I forgetting her name? Heather. Maybe Heather could bring her attorney onto my channel. We'll do a split screen. If you're watching this, Heather, which I know you're not, but if you are, hey, give me a shout out. We got some legal questions to ask you. I ought to call her up and see if she's willing to come on the channel. Maybe I'm not big enough yet for that. Stone Cold says, Geo, American, yeah, I've heard of Geo. Don't know him personally. And Maya, got married in the Philippines, and he's going back to the U.S. to sort the divorce out, but has vowed never to marry again. Yeah, I'm not up on what Geo is doing and the intricacies of their situation, and up to him. Maybe he can fill you in on that, Stone Cold, and you can come back and tell us. And yeah, I'm good on that. I don't need to be Mauritius about those two. And thanks for the like. They're my Japanese friend that came into the channel. I appreciate that. Yeah, come on over here listening to an American in the Philippines and you're Japanese. I love that. I think that's great. And I'm assuming you can understand some of what I'm saying. And if you can't, I appreciate you being here anyway. And that goes for anybody that's from a different country that doesn't speak English, or you speak English. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it. James and Karen Adventures, good morning, Colonel. There they are, James and Karen. I was talking about you guys earlier. Appreciate you being here. Great couple. And Panay Hart, I'm going to pin James and Karen for a little bit. For those of you that are new, which I don't think there is, but if there's new people in here, you don't know who James and Karen are, I'll pin their channel at the bottom of the page. Go over and check it out. James and Karen Adventures. They got all kinds of things going on. You know, living up there in Aklan province, here on the island of Panay, which is, I'm on the island of Panay too, but I'm down here in the city of Iloilo. Not because I like the city, but there's a lot of nice things about being around Iloilo. I'd still like to be out a little bit further because and I'm looking for another house. I don't like this house I'm in. There's too many issues here. And that's why I've never vlogged this house, because it's embarrassing, this house. It's just, it's okay. But I've never fully unpacked yet because I don't think I want to stay here because I'm not happy about it, about the situation. But for the situation I was in or that I wanted to get out of, this was a quick fix to that. And so I'm thankful for that. So good morning, James and Karen. Panay Hart, a lot of celebrities and policemen, I learned they married abroad if they were married in the Philippines. A lot of celebrities and, politicians, policemen, politicians, I learned they married abroad if they were married in the Philippines. Okay, so I guess that's so if they had to get out of it, they could get out of it. Or some of them, they will choose to marry abroad. Okay, Chappie. Yeah, it's too bad people have to be nasty to others just to make themselves feel better. Yeah, Chappie, I don't get that. But in all honesty, I'm probably guilty of it myself sometimes. I'm not always kind to everybody. I wish I was. But I feel guilty about it afterwards, and I like to go back and apologize. Ricky Tiller, good morning. Good morning to the Colonel. Yeah, I know there's an S there, guys, but it's just the Colonel. But I appreciate the good morning. Ricky, thank you. I don't think I've seen your name before, so I appreciate you coming over here. Wow, that's an amazing amount of thumbs up there, folks. I appreciate that for the 12 people that are watching right now. And I got all those thumbs up. That's fantastic, man. That's awesome. I appreciate it. And it sounds hokey and all, but I'm going to keep saying it. I appreciate each and every one of y'all that's in there. Those of you that are just lurking, hey, welcome. Appreciate you being here. Those of you that are commenting, that's even all the more merrier, because we can talk back and forth. Panay Hart says, hi, James and Karen. Hi, Ricky and Chappie. Hi, James from Hapa. Hello, James and Karen from Chappie. Hi, James and Karen from Mr. Paradise. Ricky Tiller, I know you from watching James and Karen channel. Ricky, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you very much for coming over here and contributing to my little sputtering, growing channel. I'm like the embers that's left over in the fire. After the fire's burned down and whatnot, I'm what's left over. I'm still burning. It's just that little ember, and if you throw something on it, I might burst into flame and take off like a rocket. I don't know. So if you guys comment and you join the channel in here and you hit that like and you subscribe or whatever, who knows? My little ember might turn into a roaring campfire. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm enjoying doing it. There's some things that bother me, and I spoke about that at the beginning of this live stream, but fortunately we moved on to happier things, and the conversation is going in different directions, and I appreciate that. It goes in different directions because of the comments that you guys make. Derek, you got to fast 2 days before. Wait, unlimited beer? OMG, Panay Hart. He's talking about Vikings. Yeah, you got to fast for 2 days before. Ain't that? Yeah, but you know what, Derek? Let's be honest. When you fast, when you come back off that fast, you don't want to eat a lot. So I think better to say you got to eat like a pig for a couple of days. Then when your stomach's stretched out and you're used to getting all that food, then you go into Vikings and you can enjoy and get your money's worth. Because it's over 1,000 pesos per person to go into Vikings, which by American standards, it's not that much money. It's really not, But when you've been eating cheaply for the past 11 and a half years, like I have, forking out 1,000 pesos for a one meal, and I'm not eating 1,000 pesos worth of food when I'm comparing it to what I'm going somewhere else and getting. I feel a little guilty about wasting the money, Ricky, I'm here in the Philippines. Where are you at, Ricky, in the Philippines? What part? I'm over here in Iloilo. Mr. Paradise, yes, there is. Panay Hart, yes, 10,000, but that was like more than 10 years ago. Wow. Mr. Paradise, you can get the courts to make the man support their children in the Philippines. Okay, Mr. Paradise. That's good to know. There you go, folks. But that doesn't mean you're going to get money from them, because they're going to claim that they don't have money. And if they're not working, how are you going to garnish their wages? So you might get a court order that says that, but I guess what do? They go to jail and then they for sure can't pay? Mr. Paradise, enlighten us a little bit more on that, going down that road. I learned this because Senator Tofo has lots of clients coming to ask help. He explained them that if the other party can't afford, they can't force them. There you go. That's what I was just saying. They have to negotiate and work it out. But I don't know if there's such a law that makes him in trouble if they don't pay the child support. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. And even if there was a law, like in the U.S. where they put deadbeat dads in jail or whatever, well, okay, they're in jail. How are they going to pay now? It makes no sense to me. Yeah, arigato. What's that? Gozaimasu. Yeah, that's to our Japanese viewer. Very good, Panay. Very good. Tita Marie's waving. Tita Marie. Haha, nice Japanese, Panay. Yeah, I'm glad she did. I wish I'd thought of that, because I know a couple words. But, oh well, I bowed and showed respect because you didn't know what else to do. Mr. Paradise says, my brother-in-law took his ex to court and she had to pay support. Okay. I assume she's working and she had a job and the income was coming from her, not him. But I don't know all the details. Not all can afford to take them to court. There's no pro bono in the Philippines. Hapa, my brother-in-law. Panay, that's not totally true. That's not totally true that there's no pro bono in the Philippines. Because, yeah, I've seen a case where a guy took the guy's case pro bono. Let's see. And pro bono, it just means he didn't ask money because he felt sorry for the guy. My brother-in-law is Japanese. My sister lives in Shizuoka, Japan. I probably pronounced that wrong. Shizuko or Shizalco. I don't know. Sorry about that, Panay Heart. Probably pronounced it wrong. Robert, still in the house. Colonel, Ilo, nice place. Yeah, it's a nice place. The traffic's awful, but it's a nice place. Chappie says, that's funny talking about the Japanese buffet here in the USA. Took my daughter yesterday. Cost me $65 for both of us. Well, we weren't talking about Japanese buffet over here. Vikings is not Japanese. It's just Philippines. It's just a buffet. All kinds of food there. But yeah, I used to love going to the Japanese buffet over there in the U.S. I lived in Central Florida. There was one near my house, and I used to go in there. I'd go in there just by myself, man. That's some good food right there. Probably totally not Japanese food, but it was some good food. Hey, Norm, walking the bush. I like a comment from here. Thank you, Norm. I appreciate that. And if you don't mind, Norm, give me some watch hours from that channel too. That would be great. You know, you know how to do it, brother, because you've been helping me already. I appreciate it. Hapa says, that's cool, Panay. Ricky, I'm in Desmarinas, Cavite, but getting ready to move to Tanza, Cavite. I will be here for 2 years in April. Wow, Ricky. You got here just about the same, or just a little bit after I did. I've been here like 2 years and 4 months. And I was living over there in San Juan, Batangas. But I've been to Cavite. I know where Desmarinas is. I know Tracy Martinez, girl that I was with. She lives over there in Tracy with Michael C. And, well, not with him, but in the same town. That didn't come out right. But sorry, Michael. I wasn't trying to. Sorry, brother. I didn't mean it like that. But I'm just saying that I know that area really well. Been over there many times. Excuse me. So Panay Hart says, "Oh, really? That's new. I have a friend who consulted a pro bono lawyer last year. He told me that they don't really help them." Okay. This guy apparently was helping. It was a foreigner, and this lawyer, this foreigner got put in jail. This Filipino lawyer saw the story, and he didn't like it because he saw the guy was getting railroaded by this Filipina lady, and he's like, "Let me help you," and he helped him. He helped him get him out of jail because he was being falsely accused of something. So there is hope out there. There are attorneys out there that evidently some of them will help out. Tina Marie, I was born in Rojas City. Have you been there? Yes, Tina Marie, I've been to Rojas City so many times. I don't even remember how many times. And I will be up there on the 8th. I will be up there on the 8th, which is tomorrow. I'm riding up tomorrow. We're going to be at the get together at the Canadian Beaver in the evening, late afternoon to evening at the Canadian Beaver with the expat get together. So, stop in and say hello to everybody that's there. And if you come and say hello to me, make sure you tell me who you are on here so I can recognize you properly, and we'll give you a shout out. There several expats going to be there, are going to be live streaming. I may even be live streaming. I'm not sure yet. I know James and Karen will be. I think that's okay, James. I hope I didn't out you there, brother. But I think we said before that you guys were going to be there. But Michael Smith will be there, of course, and so there's going to be some live streams going on at the Beaver. And I'm not sure about my reception there, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you want to stop by there in the evening, come say hello to us, Tita Marie. I'm sure everybody would enjoy that. Just tell us who you are when you come up and talk to us, so we're not like okay. Here, make sure you tell us who you are. But that would be awesome. Trish, haven't seen you in a few days, Trish. Welcome to the channel. Good afternoon. Just been picking beans from my garden for dinner. How are you? I'd be a lot better if you'd get some of those beans over here to me. That would be great. I'd love to have some ham, green beans, some potatoes. But that would be, of course, got to go somewhere and spend a lot of money to get ham over here in the Philippines. But yeah, that would be awesome. I assume you mean green beans. Are they long beans? That's great. Or are they lima? Man, I haven't had lima beans in a hot minute. Wow. Yeah, I'm doing good, Trish. Just hanging out here with you guys on this live stream. Wow, look at those. I got another thumbs up. Appreciate that. Panay Hart. So he told me that there is no such free lawyer. Okay. Well, maybe I got bad information. Or maybe the person on the video was lying. I don't know. Yeah, Ricky, I'm from Imus Cavite. Or Imus. Yeah, Imus or Imus. Imus Cavite. I always said Imus Cavite. Or no, I always said I'm Escaviti. Don't say I get out. I'm all confused now. Can't even remember what I used to say. Trish says, nice shirt. Looks good against the blue sea behind you. LOL. Well, see, as an American male, sometimes, we get negativity from those that think they're more macho than we are, and they say that men can't wear pink, and they say that you might swing a different direction. But you know what? I'm comfortable in my masculinity, and I'm comfortable enough as a man. I can wear pink, and I can rock pink. I think it looks good on me, even though I'm ugly as dirt. But I can still rock pink. I've had this shirt for many years, and I wear it. And I just saw it and I said, you know what? I'm not going to wear a Hawaiian shirt. I'm going to wear a pink shirt today. But thank you for that. I appreciate the compliment. I'll take it for what it is. Stupid Sydney drivers, a sub, like, and comment from this account too. Awesome. Is that you, Norm? Or is that somebody? I assume that's Norm. But if not, I appreciate it. And I can relate, but not from Sydney. I can relate to all the other areas. Chappie says, have a good night for, I guess, morning for you, Colonel, and God bless. Thank you, Chappie. I appreciate that. And appreciate you for being in here. And I appreciate you participating in the chat. It helps everything. It really does. I actually, it's put me in a better mood about life right now. Having this chat right now has been kind of therapeutic for me. So that might also be why I'm doing YouTube, because it's kind of like a therapy session for myself. And you guys are all my therapists. Boy, that's scary. That's scary right there. Panay Hart says, where were these pro bono lawyers? We needed them, but we never got one when I was there. Senator Tolfo law firm is what I'm aware of. Yeah, Rafi Tolfo does helps a lot of people, and I can't tell you where they were, Panay Hart, because I don't know. Okay, I was just referring to a good video that I watched about a situation that was sad, where a Filipino lawyer came in for free and helped this man out. But that's that whole thing is a whole nother story, but I was just using it. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was false. But the man was saying the attorney helped him for free. So that's where I assumed that was pro bono. But as far as like pro bono, like in the US, no, they're not going to do that. They all want their pesos. But they need to have a good case. They also turn down clients if the case isn't strong. You talking about Rafi Tolfo or pro bono? Tita Marie, love to meet up, but I'm still in Bangkok. Have a great time. Okay, Tita Marie, that's right. You are in Bangkok. I forgot about that. But you're from Rojas City, so that's cool. So if you ever come back, shoot us a message, and maybe we can go up meet at the Beaver or something, and you can meet everybody up there. What is it? Second Sunday of the month they have that get together. Enjoy Bangkok, Tita Marie. I always enjoy it. Well, I didn't always enjoy Bangkok. I enjoy it now when I go back because I know my way around a little bit better. And if you ever go to Bangkok, folks, and I don't know if you do this, if you take BTS, Tita Marie, but I always took the BTS and I'd go get a day pass. It's good. It's good for 24 hours from the time. Not really 24 hours. At midnight they stop and it ends. But it's good for all day long. Okay. So I think it was like 145 baht or. Oh, sorry about that, folks. It blinked for a second there. But for about 145 or 165 baht, I think it was 145 baht in Bangkok. You get a day pass for the BTS, and you can go everywhere that BTS goes. It's a painless way to get around. It's great, and public transportation is awesome. Thanks, Panay Hart from Tita Marie. Hapa says, beans, man, fruit. Yeah, the more you eat, the more you chew. Yeah, there you go. Hey, I've experienced it, Hapa. Trish says, yellow beans. Okay, but I've got green beans growing too. Not the long beans they grow in the Philippines. And that's what they grow in Thailand too, the long beans. And then they just break them up. And sometimes they'll mash them up in the mortise and pestle. Sometimes they'll just put it in with the som tom and their salads, and they just eat them uncooked. Not the sort of beans, Hapa, from Trish. Robert says, of course lawyers will turn down pro bono cases if they don't think they can win. Duh. Yeah, Robert. Yeah, they're not going to do something for free if they're going to lose because it hurts their reputation. Just Yarn Adventures. Yes, men need to wear brighter colors without it meaning something else. Brightens up the world. Colors are good for our mental health, which is funny you say that, Trish, because I'm colorblind. Now I can see this is pink, but it's because I trained my eyes to know that this is pink. Red and pink were male colors, and blue was for girls until the early 20th century. Yeah, that was me as well, mate. Okay, Norm. That's good info. No, I didn't know that. Tita Marie, my hubby likes wearing the lilac color, light purple. He says it brings out the blue in his eyes. Yeah, actually, I like that too. And I have a purple shirt that I have, lighter purple. It's one of my favorite shirts. Now I've had some ladies. I hate purple. I hate that color. I said, well, that's too bad. This is one of my favorite colors because I think it looks good on me. And I got to look at myself in the mirror. I don't want to be scared too much. I'm scared enough already. But yeah, I got no problem with that because I got blue eyes too. Trish, that's a nice color too, Tita Marie. Yeah, it is. I didn't know that, Norm. I didn't either. That was good information. No, I'm from Canada, but traveling during the winters. Well, Tita Marie, you got to go to the Canadian Beaver then. Tita Marie, okay. Yes, Trish, I love any shades of purple. The BTS is across my Airbnb. We took the day pass and got lost, explored the MRT too. Yeah, I've been on MRT, but it's great in time. If you don't want to be down there in the taxis and down there in the rat race and the traffic and the exhaust and everything, go up to BTS, and it's air conditioned. Tell you where every stop is. You can look on the map and see where you're going, and you can. I mean, I did that one time. I was there for a medical procedure or medical appointments. And I got a day pass for BTS. I hopped on, and I went to places that I had not been before. And I got out. Took that one. I got out near the Naval Academy, walked around there, and I went into what was the place I went into? I don't know, but maybe it was an old prison or something. Or no, I'm sorry. It was like a lighthouse, but it was in the city. But it was a tall structure, and you could go up inside of it. And you took an elevator, go up, and you get out, and you got a nice view of the Chao Phraya River and whatnot. And they had little guard towers and stuff. So I don't know what that was all about, but it was nice just to see something different. And then I came down and walked, and I started walking, and that's how I found the Naval Academy. Walked over by the Naval Academy. Of course, I didn't go in, but it was kind of cool. You see the little guys walking around there. They're in their all white uniforms, like the maritime students over here, and that was kind of cool. But I tell you what, folks, I've been on here almost 2 hours. It was 2 hours and 12 minutes. If you want me to keep going, I'll stay on here. But I'm running out of topics for today. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, and I appreciate everybody being in here. And I'm going to wind down as everybody's falling off the stream. I thank you for the 31 thumbs up. That is amazing, and that's just awesome. And the Colonel thanks you, and I appreciate it. And I appreciate those of you that took time out of your valuable day, evening, morning, whatever it is. Henry Broussard at home before I shut it down. Carol, you have a good day. Okay. And take care, Colonel. Have a good day. Thank you. I didn't see Carol. I missed something there, Henry. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. See you, mate. Bellis started early. Yeah, Bellis was going to go at 11. That's all good. You guys can hop over and help a brother out over there if you want. But I'm going to take off. You guys have a good day. God bless you. Take care. Be safe. The Colonel is out.